Can a child lift up an adult?
Sometimes. Not
Really?
always, though, and not mostly.
Must be a strong child.
Well, or they've got that determination. They're going to do it this time. And the great news is that leverage, done right, works every time.
That's true.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
So we're excited to welcome you to another episode of Life's Inside Track. I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And it's where we share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, and tactics that we all need. We all deserve. You, I, everyone. So we're going to turn our house into home where our families thrive and we live the best life possible. So what we're going to consider this time is leverage a best friend or a foe?
Well, maybe we should also consider leverage. Is that a common wording for what we're talking about? I know it is for like trying to lift up something heavy.
Right. Maybe using a lever.
Yeah, or the teeter-totter is basically leverage. And if one person is heavier than the other, the lighter person moves to the outside edge and the heavier person moves inward.
Right.
So there's leverage.
Right. Well, I don't know. Is it a common thing? I think when you buy something with borrowed money, you are leveraging someone else's money, whether it's the banks or an individual's. If you borrow part or all of the money to buy something, you're leveraging.
And you're probably leveraging your good credit rating, your ability to pay in the past, your good job, all these things, right?
And you might be leveraging the house that you own to get access.
Collateral on it, or using it as collateral, yeah.
Right.
So anytime you borrow money to buy something, whether it's furniture, a car, or a boat, a snowmobile, a house.
If it's borrowed money.
Yeah, anytime you borrow money to buy those kinds of things, you're leveraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now I got a good understanding.
Okay, fantastic. And so we want to unpack that a little bit because people get, and I know I used to get, crazy nervous when somebody would say you're going to leverage your house or you're going to leverage to buy something. It's like leverage is bad. It feels bad.
Well, and it can be bad. Remember, your opening was your best friend or your
foe? And the answer is yes and yes.
Yes, it can be. You know, recently a friend of mine was telling me that he had leveraged money to invest in the stock market.
Meaning he had borrowed money to put in the stock market.
Yeah, so he put $200,000 of his own money and $800,000 of the bank's money into some shares. Thinking that would give him 5 times leverage, and he would, so if the shares went up $1 a share or whatever the number was, then it's like they went up $5 because he had so much invested that wasn't his own money.
Right.
So his return would be high.
That's how leverage works.
The problem is if the stocks go down that as well, he loses 5 times his investment money, right? Like not all his investment, but 5 times the amount. And the other problem was there was this thing called a margin call. Are you familiar with a margin call?
I am. Yeah. Explain it.
Okay, so a margin call is the bank wants the margin to stay at 80-20. 20% of your money, 80% of their money. So in this case, let's say for round number, let's say it was $1 a share. He had 1 million shares. They went down a fair bit, actually. So let's say they went down 20%. He'd lose all his down payment money, right? So in this case, they went down 10%. So it went down to, instead of being worth $1 million, it's now worth $900,000. But the bank says, oh, no, you need to be 80-20. So we need you to have an extra 80,000 in. And if you don't, then we're going to sell shares to recoup our money so that we're back to an 80%. And he didn't have the money to give the extra $80,000. So they sold shares at a loss, and he has no, you can't wait.
There's nothing you could do about it,
No,
right?
that's the problem with margin calls, is they will sell when the market's low, and you can't wait for it to come back up. And then even if it does come back up, now you got less money invested in them.
Right. So when we're saying friend or foe, there's some things that when you leverage it, it actually almost can quite easily work against you, because nothing really like that is a sure bet.
Yeah. And then also it's guaranteed to work against you if you're buying something on leverage that goes down in value. Like guaranteed it's going to go down in value, like the furniture, the boat, the cars, anything you buy on leverage like that, it's going down in value as you make payments.
Right. And so we would encourage not to buy things on borrowed money or leveraged that goes down in value.
Right.
Because you're losing all the time. So the point here is, if you're kind of going, is this a good thing to invest in or not? I just need some clarity. Maybe, like I've heard even leveraging a house is bad. And it often isn't bad if you're leveraging it for the right thing at the right amount. So if you're looking for a clarity call, give us a call and we'll give you a 15-minute quick conversation, clarity call, just to sort of initially discover whether it's worth exploring it further or not, or whether you're putting yourself at too much risk.
Yeah. So that clarity call us and leave us a message if we don't answer the phone, 613-860-4663.
Right. So real estate. I kind of alluded to real estate being a safer thing to leverage because they can't do cash calls.
Yeah.
But you do have to worry about when your renewal of mortgage is. So you got to be smart about how much you're borrowing, how much you're leveraging.
Yep. The nice thing is if the values go down, you can wait it out, especially if it's an investment. You got tenants that are paying the mortgage. Then just wait for it to come back up. There's no margin call. And the other thing that's really neat is if it's your principal residence, you can leverage right up to 5% down.
If you're living in the house.
Yeah.
Right.
5% down to own this magnificent property that you live in. You get the utility of living in it, and you get the benefit of leverage for future growth.
Right. And the cool thing is, everybody has to live in a house. Pretty much everybody lives in, whether it's a house or an apartment, whether it's a condominium or a freehold. The reality is people have to live somewhere.
Yeah, the cheapest place to live in is your parents' house.
Well, true, but at some point that just becomes not so workable.
Yeah, I know.
It just isn't effective.
For either party.
Yeah, for either party, right? So waiting it out is a great idea until it comes back into alignment. But the good news is everybody's got to live in it. And if you aren't leveraging your money to buy a house, your money is being used to buy somebody else's house. The landlord, right? Like that's the bottom line. Somebody is getting benefit.
That's true.
And might as well be you.
Yeah. So wonder about leverage, because as far as I'm concerned, leverage is the 8th wonder of the world. And we're grateful to be your partners in moving forward towards building wealth, wisdom, and worth.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team.